Don't they look just so gorgeous? All these beautiful colours, and they look so yummy. But even so, these just really put me out of my comfort zone. But I think the only way I'm going to be able to see if these are for me is to try them out. So let's have a go with Mungyo Gallery Oil Pastels. Hi everyone, hope everybody's doing okay. Welcome back if you're a returner, and hello and welcome if you're new to me today. My name's Jane and I love all things mixed media-y, art journal-y, all the mediums, although this, I have to say, is really out of my usual comfort zone. Now, these soft oil pastels, I keep calling them Mungyo Gallery. I think they're Gallery by Mungyo. I don't think it really matters. I asked for these for Christmas, so they haven't been sent to me by a company or anything like that. My husband bought them for me for Christmas because I asked him to. And you may think, well, why? Why are you doing that to yourself if you're not sure about oil pastels? I think the trouble is, I see the word oil and it immediately puts me a little bit on edge. I'm very used to working in acrylics or watercolours or alcohol markers, things that just dry and they're there and they're done. Although, you know, you can sort of re-wet your watercolours, but these are a totally different sort of beast. But I think if I can get my head around how they are to just be on the top of other things, I think they could be quite good fun, because these ones, I did do a bit of research because I have been burnt in the past. I made the mistake of making an impulse buy once where I was walking through TK Maxx and I saw some Faber-Castell oil pastels that were quite cheap, and I thought, oh, I'm going to try them. They didn't work at all how I wanted them to. And afterwards, I looked them up and people were saying the same sorts of things as I was experiencing. They really weren't great to blend. Now, that's nothing against Faber-Castell as a whole. I have to say, the reason I bought them was because I love Faber-Castell. I have their gelatos, I have their polychromos, and I have their pit pens. And all of those products are absolutely fantastic. So I would never say to anybody that Faber-Castell isn't a fantastic company. But I have to say, their oil pastels, well, they nearly put me off oil pastels for life. But I've seen some lovely people who I follow on YouTube, the likes of Denise Love, the likes of Lindsay who's the Frugal Crafter, those sorts of people who have used these pastels and have really enjoyed them. And so I thought I'll ask for some of these because they won't break the bank. They're not, you know, top expensive pastels. They are more than affordable. I think this set, I know because I asked for them, were I think about £27, and there's 48 in here. So I didn't think that was too bad a price. And from what I can gather, they are really good quality. So if you can't, you know, spend that money, I couldn't justify asking for things like Sennelier. I don't even know if I'm going to like them. So I have just gone for these ones. Now, they came in this outer sleeve, which I've just taken off, and they're in this lovely cardboard box. And I asked for the 48 assorted colours because I thought that would give me a nice variety, but I don't need, you know, 120 of something. I'm never going to get through those, so I thought this would be an ideal starter for me. Now, inside it tells you a little bit. So Artist Soft Oil Pastels Professional. They're of professional quality with outstanding smooth touch and consistent colours. Their intense colours and high covering power are ideal for techniques such as impasto and scraping, which is quite fun. Smoothness and low residue allow neat and accurate works. Mungyo Gallery Artist Oil Pastels, meeting the requirements of professional artists, will be your best choice. And you've got the colours that are in this box with their numbers and their colour names in 3 different languages there. So that's that. I looked on the back. Let me put the lid on before I turn it over, because that would be very silly, wouldn't it, if I just turned it over? Oh, there's nothing on the back of that. Nothing on the back of that. On the back of here, you've got that same information. You've got some writing in, I'm going to guess Chinese, because I think these Oh no, hold on. I was going to say they're made in China. They're not. They're made in Korea. So I'm going to guess this is probably, that's Korean. That might be Chinese. Oh, there's all different languages. Again, the colours, no pigment information, anything like that. So I can't tell you anything about that sort of information, whether they are light fast. That would be something you would need to find out. For me, it's not an issue because these would be going in art journals and sketchbooks. I'm not going to be hanging my artwork. Well, to be fair, it's probably not going to be much artwork on the walls. So inside you get your little leaflet. Oh yeah, 120 colours available. So, oh gosh, I guess that now about the 120. So I'll put that over there. A nice bit of foam to protect them. And here are the beautiful oil pastels. Now I'm just going to be able to have to give you like my general first impressions and how I find them. I have drawn out in advance a very basic chart just so that I can put the colours down. But what I will do is in real time with you, I will swatch out a couple, but then I will just film me swatching out the rest and speed that up for you, because I don't think you need to see me swatch out 48 colours. That would, in real time, I think that would be a bit much. So I will swatch them out and speed that up for you. But having a little look, I mean, I don't know how, I'm going to say this in advance. If you have any worries about your skin or anything that might be in them, I would suggest you wear gloves, or there's that cream, the gloves in a bottle that you can get that makes a barrier. I don't have particularly any sensitivities. If I was using them a lot and using my fingers a lot with them, I would probably put some gloves on, or I would use something like I think I've seen people use like silicone tools with them, little silicone tools to blend and things like that. But the amount I'm going to be doing is probably not going to justify me worrying about it too much. But obviously that is something that, if it is a concern to you, do please do what you need to do. Also, because they are an oil pastel, they're not going to give off a load of dust, so you're not breathing things in like you would be with maybe like a more chalky pastel. So they look lovely, they feel lovely, they feel nice. It feels like being back at, primary school. And the only thing I would say is, I don't know if people do really fine, detailed work with these. I'm thinking of these more as a mark making medium to go on the top, because they're oil. They do have to really be the last layer you're going to use in a mixed media piece. So you can't, once you put these down, because they're oil, you can't really put anything on top of them because it's not going to stay. Also, because they're oil, they stay wet, so you need to fix them, or if you're not going to fix them in general, put a piece of wax paper, something in between, so they're not going to transfer. I haven't got it in front of me, but I'll show you when I come back after maybe swatching. I have Spectrafix, and I have looked that up, and it does say that it is suitable for oil pastels. I've used it when I've been using my pan pastels mostly. It was also for sealing things like pencils. I personally don't bother sealing pencils. I just presume they'll be okay. But I suppose if they've got an oil base, you could have the same sort of effect, but where they don't totally maybe dry. I don't know. I've never really thought about it, but that's what that's for. So I could use that on top of anything I do with this. So let's get into this, because I've drawn out my chart. I'm going to do it like this. I've drawn it out, and I did it in the order that the oil pastels were in. So I'm not going to put a swatch inside my oil pastels, because to be honest, I think you've got the colours in front of you. I don't need to know. There's no pigment information, there's no light fast information, there's nothing extra I need to know from these. I just need to be able to see the colours. So I just wanted to sort of do this to check that what all the colours looked like and how they felt, really. So you get this paper wrapper, which I will leave on, and I'm going to put a bit down here. Oh, they are lovely. And now this is a totally different experience, really, from the Faber-Castell ones I had. These are much, much, much softer and creamier, and you can rub out that colour a lot more. What I will do is, once I have swatched all these, I will do a little bit of blending in real time as well, and then I will try and make a couple of little sort of projects with them as well. So we've got pink, light purple, violet. I'm going to have to use a different finger, aren't I, unless I want to muddle my colours. And they do smudge out. Now these, because they're oil, these are not water soluble, not like something like your Neo colours, which your Neo Colour 2s, I should say. Your Neo Colour 1s are not water reactive, but your Neo Colour 2s are. Let's go for a darker colour just to have a bit of a comparison. So let's try, ooh, Prussian blue. I do love a Prussian blue. It's one of my favourite sorts of blue. So I'm going to put it in the right slot, so to speak. Let's use that one's actually that finger. And I'm going to presume that obviously the more of the pastel you put down, the more you're going to get it to smudge out, because there'll be more medium there to move. But if you have it nice and thick, that's when you can do those things like the is it Scruffito or Scruffito, I think, where you scrape into it. We remember doing that a lot with wax crayons at school, where you used to put, I think it's called Joseph's Coat. You put all the colours down with the wax crayons, and then you put all the black over the top and scrape into it. So you can sort of do those sorts of things. So let's have a little, I don't know, it doesn't always help me showing anything on here. So that's that one and that one. So you can see how they are blending out. So they feel nice to me. To be honest, I have no good comparison with any others apart from the Faber-Castells. So there are many, many other people on YouTube who will have really great comparison videos of all the different, not all the different, but different sorts of oil pastels, if it's something you're interested in. So I can just really focus on my first impressions of these. So what I will do is I will swatch out all of the colours and I will speed it up for you, and I'll see you on the other side. Do you know what? After I'd finished doing that, I thought, why didn't I just turn the piece of the book round this way? You'd have been able to see it all in one go. Never mind. I did mean to say as well that I am swatching onto, this is the Daler Rowney, sorry, now it's the wrong way around. Daler Rowney mixed media paper. I wanted something that had a little bit of texture to it. And I was wiping my finger off quite frequently with a cloth in between using the colours, and I found that that worked really, and didn't actually have an awful lot on my hands at the end of it as I was wiping it quite quickly. I did get some on my silica mat, and I did actually just get a little bit of baby oil, and that got it off, because I tried some isopropyl, or rubbing alcohol as I think some people know it, and that didn't actually lift the colour. But once I used that, I suddenly thought, oh, it's oil based. And I know some people say about using baby oil with your things for blending, which I don't think is overly necessarily recommended because it's not an art product, but you know, sometimes needs must. But it certainly, if I just put a little bit down on the areas where the oil pastel was and I wiped it and it came up. So that's something to be aware of as well, that you can use your baby oil to clean up a bit as well. Just remembered that I was going to go and get the Spectrafix, but I'll do that in a second, because what I just want to point out was, for some reason, my camera, when there is a very bright or light yellow, shows it as green. So I just wanted to say that this lemon yellow here and this pale yellow here are yellow. They are not green as it shows on my camera. So what I will do is I will take a photo of this and I will pop it at the end of the video. I always add some photos at the end, so if you ever want to see anything in close up or in more detail, because I know it's not always clear on the video, then if you go to that you can have a look. And also what I will do is I will put the photo of this on still, so that if you want to take a screenshot of the colours, then you can, and you will then see the proper colour of those two. The rest are about right, but those two, for some reason, yellows, it just doesn't want to show them as yellow. Right, so I will go and grab that fixative and then we'll do a little bit of colour blending. Okay, so I'm back with the fixative. Now this is the one that I have. This is Spectrafix Degas, I should imagine it's pronounced. Pastel fixative. It's all natural, odor free, original. It's a milk casein formula, which I'm going to guess therefore that if you only want to use vegan products, this I don't think would be suitable. I'm going to guess that's made, obviously it's made from, trying to read where it says, casein, denatured grain, alcohol, water, but it's a much more in sort of health friendly fixative. It is apparently odor free. I think I have used it, but it's one that is not as harmful to your health as some of the others might be. So it's the one that I chose. That was one of the reasons I chose it, because I wanted to be able to spray it and not have to worry too much about it. And it also dries to a matte finish. It says that it's suitable. It's a workable fixative as well. So if you put it over things like your pencils or your chalky pastels, I think then you can work on top of them. I don't know if I'd do that still with oils. It says it's a fully archival fixative for pastel, charcoal, conte, don't know what that is, graphite, coloured pencil or watercolour. Use it under encaustic wax or oil paints to prevent drawings from smudging. Oh, maybe I should have put it on underneath. Oh, I don't know, because I did read that you could use it for oil pastels, but I don't know. I would have thought pastel, pencil, charcoal. So maybe I should have put it on first to stop it smudging. But I don't want it to not smudge. I want it to smudge. What I will do is I might at the end just spray it and then see what happens and then let you know. But those are the colours. So I'm going to turn to a clean-ish page in my mixed media sketchbook, and I'm going to do some colour mixing. So let's try a warm yellow, because that's not going to show as being so green. I think it's just the citrusiness of that's the problem. So warm and a warm, and let's go for, where's the ultramarine, because that's a warm. So we've got some prime, oops, I've got it all over the place there, haven't I? So let's do some, ooh, I've already got, how have I managed to get red on there before I've even started? Right, let's put some yellow down. So it's already got a bit of the red in there for some reason, and then let's just mix across the middle so they blend. So we can blend them together. They're blending really nicely and quite easily. I have to say, as I was doing the swatches, I could already feel they were much more easy to use than the previous ones I'd had. So that's quite easily. Let's now try some yellow and some of the ultramarine. My hair's constantly falling out. All I would say is you do need to just be a little bit aware of those bits that sometimes come off in clumps if you then catch them elsewhere. Oh, nice green. There again, blending. Let's get a bit out like that as well so we can get a bit of the colour. There we go, so a nice green there. Can you see that? Doesn't look so good on my little screen, but again, I can take a photo of it and then you can see that at the end how they have blended. Let's do a bit of the red and the yellow. And of course you can blend any of your other colours as well to get different shades. I was trying to show the things that make. I've done red and yellow. I didn't mean to do red and yellow at all. Let's have another orange. Let's go right into that yellow and see what happens then. If we can get so we get a much lighter yellow if I pull that out there. That wasn't what I was intending. I was intending to do red and blue, but my brain had a moment to rest and it forgot. And let's have a blue next to it this time. And this time we'll hopefully get a purple. It's more, I always find with the warm primaries you get more of sort of a plum. Actually, that's more of a grey. It would depend on what pigments are in your primaries in the first place. Let's go out that way. Let's go out that way and see what happens. But you certainly can sort of mix your colours. Let's put some colour down and try some Scruffito. So let's do a square of blue. And let's give it a little bit of a blend together just to get rid of those white bits. That's how you can see how beautifully it blends, because it does quite easily get rid of that whiteness underneath. And let's get I've got this sort of pokey scratchy tool. If you wanted to do cross hatching, so if you wanted to do something, you wanted to create some texture in there, you can scrape back some of your colour. Getting carried away now. I can see that could be quite addictive, especially with mark making. And let's just have a little look at with the white, see how that goes. If it goes over the top. Yep, goes over the top there. I'll have to take that bit off there. See how it goes over that. Blending a little bit. I wanted to see if it would. Well, there you go. So you could put your white over the top. Let's give that a little. Could actually get some really nice. There you go, some really nice, more pastel-y tones with your white as well, couldn't you? If you want to blend out some of your colours, it's nice pastel-y blue there. Sort of a pastel grey slash violet. But certainly they're quite good fun to play with. I think this is what I need to do with them. I need to really sort of play with just using them, just getting them onto the page. You can get fairly, as long as you've still got that edge there to your crayon, harking back there, aren't I? To your pastel, you can actually even get some quite sort of delicate-ish lines. You can't really colour in very finely. Well, having said that, that's not bad. And if you took the paper off, I'm going to guess you could do quite like, or actually even just with that top bit, get a much more textured sort of look with them. So if I do a textured look, and then if we go over the top maybe with another colour, what happens then? Do they block each other out or do they blend? They sort of, that's giving like a, let's try some yellow on top of that. Let's start there. Well, yeah, that's overlaying them. It's making it go into an orangey tone as well, and then you could either leave it like that or just blend the top one out. Now I'm going to make the assumption that if I added water to these, nothing's going to happen. No, it's going to just bead up. So this is why this needs to be your top layer, because it's oil and water don't mix, so you're not going to be able to put your watercolors, any water-based products over the top of these. It's just going to repel. It's really cute how it's shame it won't stay like that, but if so, then if I just go, yeah, it's not going to, you know, it's just, if anything, it's just coming off on here a little bit, but it's just going to wipe the water off. It's not going to blend it out at all. Now I do believe if you want to blend them out, if you have linseed oil, that's generally what's in oils. I haven't got linseed oil. I have got baby oil, but I don't know if that's going to work or whether you should even use it. But I'm going to grab a little bit and just see if, oh yes, that certainly works. But whether putting baby oil into your, I mean, if it's in your sketchbook and you're not worried about it, then I'd say it's probably, you know, that would be okay. But it's probably not the best thing to be using if, you know, you make pictures that are going to go for sale or anything like that, because, or you're going to give away to people, because I don't know, truly do not know how that baby oil, in terms of like acidity and they put it on newborn baby skin, but you know how it would react with the paper if nothing else over a period of time. Yeah, so I probably wouldn't, but just to show that an oil, so I would probably go to my local art store. Not that I've overly got a local art store, but I would go to some store that sells maybe linseed oil and then try that out with it as a blending medium. Let me put my crayons back in. So what I will do is I will clear up, tidy up. Actually, what I might do, I'm just going to spray these with this, spray some of them, just to see if I don't see. I think I should have put it down first because it's sitting on the top, so I think it's right. I think you need to put it down first to stop it smudging. I don't think it would stop it, would make it dry, if you know what I mean, stop it from still being able to be smudged. So I think you would probably need a proper fixative. I did wonder when, because I thought mine's more for having said that, it's not, it is sort of sitting on the, it might work. I'll do that, we'll see. I'll rub that into there and we'll see. But I will have a little bit of a clean up, and then I'll come back and we'll do some little projects with the oil pastels to see what little abstracts we can make. Okay, so I've left it for about 10 minutes and it has sort of evaporated off the fixative. But to be honest, I mean, where it was really blended out, perhaps it's helped a little bit, but to be honest, look, where it was thicker, it's still able to be moved quite easily. So I think I will need to invest in a proper oil pastel fixative, rather than, I mean, I don't know how much I sprayed on that. Also, if you're going to do things like where you're putting colours over colours, obviously it will also need fixing, because as soon as I do that, those colours will blend together, because they are quite nice and blendable, which is actually what I wanted. But once you've got what you want it to stay where it is. And I think that's why I've always been a little bit with oil pastels, because I don't like the idea that they will keep moving, because I like things that stay put mostly. And so, and fixative is the way to go, I think, with that, which then I will have to obviously wait until things are nice outside to be able to spray, because I don't want to spray inside the house. Something that's a little bit more toxic, because obviously, you know, but yeah, toxic, I guess. So I'm going to move that one out the way. This is another I have got a couple of mixed media pads. This one is Winsor and Newton mixed media. I've used this a couple of times for a couple of videos to do abstracts, so I thought I would stick to using this one. Again, this I think the Winsor and Newton mixed media feels a little bit smoother than the Rowney one. So hopefully, though, because it's mixed media, it should have a bit of tooth to it. So that should be good for the oil pastel. So I just thought I'd do just 4 little sort of blended abstracty pictures, and I've already popped my Scotch blue tape on there. This one is, I do believe it's 24mm wide. I'm trying to look to see if they did a thinner one, but I don't think they do a thinner one in this particular brand. But I might have to get another brand and try it out, because I want sort of to maybe do some thinner lines sometimes on my. I don't want to cut because it just gets too tricky. So if we do 4 little like different ways of doing this, so I thought maybe we'll do one that's sort of like, we'll do like a circly idea, circly. So we'll go with a yellow, and then an orange, then maybe a darker orange, and then this red, sort of more of an orangey red, and then maybe a darker red, just to have a little bit of a play, and then we will go out, see what we get. This is what I say, you just got to be a little bit careful like about these little I'll try and find some kitchen towels. Oops, there went some journals. Some kitchen, just so I can wipe that bit off. Let's just get to the edges here, because I want to get right to the edge. Oh, I did mean to say as well, I do de-tack my blue tape, as in I just stick it to my jeans. I say jeans because I'm nearly always wearing some sort of jean type based trousers. So I stick it to that first, and then sort of just use it from there, so that it just takes a little bit of that tackiness off of it. Whoa, look at that fiery sun. Now, I don't know if you can then, I'm going to presume you can't use any of the, because I always think maybe acrylics would stick to it, but acrylics are generally water based, so they're probably not going to stick to it either, are they? So you could do that. Then I suppose if I could just, I don't know, I don't want to ruin it. I was just thinking of whether I could do some rays coming from the middle. That's quite cool, actually. You just have to make sure that you're taking it, especially when you're going through into the darker colour. That's a really fiery, and where it's thicker and you haven't blended it out so much, you'll get more of that sort of scratching look. I wonder if I want to just, now if you lose the colour, can I just go back in, I'm going to guess, with some more of the yellow and just blend that back in, because it's going to just layer over the top of the others, isn't it? So do it like that. There's a one little feel like I want to have a little bit more orange around it. It feels that it's got very red. Only trouble is when I do that, what you're doing is then you're filling back in the lines, but it's playing around to start with, isn't it? Just to see. Oops, that was my scratchy tool that I've just flung on the floor. Grab it. There we go. Right, so that's a really hot coloured one. Let's see what about doing maybe a little sort of landscapey type. Maybe this is not my forte, doing sort of more realistic, well not realistic, is it? Sort of, you know what I mean. So let's have a bit of a light blue here. And let's have a darker, let's have a darker blue at the top there. And let's just oops, that green went a bit too much into my blue there. I wasn't intending for that so much. I quite like that actually. Let's get a little bit more of that lighter blue there and just blend that maybe up to there a bit more. Make sure I'm getting that right across where my lines are, because I want my little lines to be. Then what we could do, could we get some It's a very very impressionistic, very Monet. And then we could have a very dark, so if we just use you can do like quite cute, sort of more realistic. Please excuse my terrible skills for creating anything that looks sort of realistic. Let's just add a little bit black to there, just to, didn't quite hit the spot in some of them, but you know, or maybe actually we have some white just to blend into the sky there a bit. There we go. So that's that one. Let's do, what about do some patches of different colours? Maybe go, let's have some purples. So a block of purple there, block of purple there. We'll have some pinks. Have, oh, let's have a paler pink, one of these. They're certainly fun to play with. They're very freeing. They're very, you know, you feel, what's the word I'm looking for? You just use them. You don't, you're not so worrying about your marks, because you can't be precise. You totally can't. So, no, I probably wouldn't have tried to do like a little landscape normally, because I would be too worried about how it looked. But because it's the pastels, and you know it's not going to sort of look fantastic, let's just do like very light blending. So you get more of a, you can get more of a sort of a choppy look to it. And then you could maybe take something like your black and do more abstract patterns over the top. Maybe take something like your white. Oh, that's probably not, that's not going to show up so much because it's not overly blended, so it's just more blending it in than anything. Or something like going through. This is more my comfort zone, just doing something quite abstract. Oh, I quite like that one. That one I like. That's me. That's more me. I'm just going to just wipe off. So your pastels are going to get dirty, so I'm just wiping them off. I mean, I'm not too worried about what they're going to look like on here. What do I want to do on this last one? I haven't done much with the browns. Let's have a look at the browns. Let's do a bit of an ombre going from. Oh, that suddenly went quite a lot darker than what I thought that was going to go. What was the darkest one? And then let's have a black at the end. So actually, that could be quite nice. Sort of trees, couldn't it? So you get like nice bark texture. It reminds me of I've got to now look and see where these all went because I've now got confused about where all the colours went. We used to do rubbings. Ooh, I wonder if you do rubbings. Right, let's just. Very, very try and get a bit of an ombre going on. I like that, quite like the texture there. But I mean, this isn't how I would probably be using it. I would be using these as final sort of layers, but I quite like. Now let's see if we go over the top. Something a bit different. Let's have a look. That's when we take the tape off. You do get little bits all over the place, I have to say. Oh no, hold on. Let's go down the middle first. Oh no, that one was the one I did last. Now I am wondering whether I'm going to get like thicker bits around the edges that might then smudge, and this is why I do think you probably do then need to have your sealer over the top. Oops, that one next. Ooh. There we go. So my four little oil pastel paintings. I have to, that's my favourite. I love that one. That is really fun. And this one, I don't know, would you collage over them? I'm going to guess not, because I'm going to guess your glues and mediums again are going to probably be water based, so they're not going to stick, are they? But certainly if you did, you know, your backgrounds with your watercolours and then added parts of your oil pastels on, it just would add extra depth and extra marks. So I will certainly be using them in some of my colour palette abstracty type projects that I do. I hope that was useful to anybody who was thinking about oil pastels. Like I say, I am no expert at all, but I am a enthusiastic amateur, and I think I'll be a little bit less scared of them, but I do need to get myself some proper sealer so that I can really make sure that they're not going to rub off inside the journal, because I don't want them going on to everything else. And they are very I can see on my mat, the baby oil works really nicely on the mat, by the way. That I've got that off a few times, because you can sort of scrape it off, but I wouldn't recommend that. But my hands aren't that bad. I have only used my hands. I haven't used tools, so they're not as messy as I thought they might be. So thank you very much for watching. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed, or if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified of future videos, do please hit the bell as well. And I will see you again soon. So bye.